The International Space Station, a marvel of engineering, a testament to human ambition, but now a haunted house. It hung in the black abyss, a fragile structure of metal and hope, home to 7 astronauts, 7 souls now alone in the vastness, stalked by something unseen, something ancient, something hungry. The whispers started subtly, a faint scratching sound in the ventilation, a flicker of movement in the corner of an eye, easy to dismiss. Stress, fatigue, the tricks the mind plays in the darkness. But the disturbances grew bolder, objects moved on their own, systems malfunctioned without explanation. Fear, a venomous serpent, began to coil in their guts. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Then came the footsteps, heavy, measured steps echoing through the station's metallic corridors. No one was there. They huddled together, these astronauts, these explorers of the cosmos, reduced to trembling children in the dark. They tried to rationalize, hypothesized about escaped experiments, hallucinations from cosmic rays, anything but the truth. The truth was far too terrifying. They were not alone. They were being hunted. The communication system crackled. A distorted voice, thin and reedy, slithered through the speakers. It spoke in a language ancient and cold, a language that tasted of the void between stars. The voice was everywhere and nowhere. It seeped from the walls, wormed its way into their minds, whispered their deepest fears. The astronauts huddled closer, eyes wide with terror, the cold grip of fear squeezing the air from their lungs. The glitch was more than just a malfunction. It was an intrusion, an invasion of their very souls. Each word, each syllable, seemed to carry the weight of forgotten eons, echoing the silence of the cosmos. The station's lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced to the rhythm of the voice. It was as if the station itself was alive, breathing and responding to the ancient call. The crew's instruments went haywire, screens displaying cryptic symbols and patterns that defied understanding. Panic set in, hearts racing, breaths shallow. They tried to communicate with Earth, but the signal was lost, swallowed by the same void that birthed the voice. Desperation clawed at their sanity as they realized they were utterly alone, adrift in the vast emptiness of space, with the glitch as their only companion. The voice grew louder, more insistent, as if demanding something from them, something they could not comprehend. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, leaving them questioning their own existence. Isolation. Communication with Earth was severed. The station, once a beacon of human achievement, was now a prison, a tomb hurtling through the infinite graveyard of space. The entity toyed with them, cut off power to different sections, plunged them into darkness. The temperature fluctuated wildly. Whispers followed them everywhere, promising oblivion, whispering of a hunger that spanned millennia. Commander Sarah Jenkins, her face etched with exhaustion and fear, decided to confront the entity. Armed with a wrench, her only weapon, she ventured into the heart of the station, the whispers growing louder with each step. The air grew heavy, thick with an unseen presence. A shape coalesced in front of her, a swirling vortex of shadows, vaguely humanoid but impossibly ancient. Its eyes, two burning embers, bored into her soul. Sarah's mind raced, memories of her crew flashing before her eyes. She remembered their laughter, their camaraderie, and the promise she made to bring them home. The station's lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced around her. She tightened her grip on the wrench, feeling its cold metal against her skin, a small comfort in the overwhelming darkness. The entity's whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling her mind with a cacophony of voices. Each step she took felt like wading through thick molasses, the air itself resisting her progress. She could feel the weight of the entity's gaze, its burning eyes never leaving her. It was as if it was probing her very essence, searching for something deep within. As she approached the entity, she could see it more clearly. The shadows that made up its form seemed to writhe and twist, never staying still for long. It was both terrifying and mesmerizing. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She knew that this confrontation would determine the fate of the station and possibly her own survival. With a final, determined step, Sarah stood before the entity. The whispers reached a fever pitch, but she focused on the promise she made to her crew. She raised the wrench, ready to face whatever came next. The fate of the station and her own destiny hung in the balance. The entity spoke, its voice a chorus of whispers. It was not a being of malice, it explained. It was a traveler, a collector of stories, drawn to the vibrant tapestry of human emotions. Fear, it whispered, was the most potent story of all, and the station, with its trapped inhabitants, had been a feast of terror. The entity had fed well. Jenkins understood. The entity was a force of nature, neither good nor evil, it simply was, and it craved stories. Jenkins made a decision. She would give the entity a story of sacrifice. She broke away from the entity and raced to the comms room. She had a plan, a desperate gamble. If she could boost the signal. The entity watched, intrigued. It had seen many things in the vast expanse of the universe, but this was different. This was something that piqued its curiosity, something that made it pause and take notice. The stars around it seemed to dim as it focused its attention on the unfolding events. It felt the surge of power, the woman's desperate attempt to send a message. The energy rippled through the cosmos, a signal of distress that carried with it a sense of urgency and fear. The entity could sense the emotions behind the message, the desperation and hope intertwined, a story of courage, of selflessness. The woman, despite the odds, was determined to make her voice heard. She knew the risks, yet she pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to protect those she cared about. Her actions were a testament to the resilience and bravery of the human spirit. It smiled, a chilling, silent stretching of its shadowy form. The entity found amusement in the human struggle, yet there was also a hint of respect. It recognized the strength it took to fight against the inevitable, to stand firm in the face of overwhelming odds. The smile was both a mockery and an acknowledgement. The station shuddered as Jenkins channeled all remaining power into the comm system. Every light flickered, every panel buzzed with the strain. Jenkins knew this was their last chance, the final opportunity to send out a call for help. Sweat dripped down his brow as he worked, his hands moving with practiced precision. Her final message, a beacon of hope and despair, crackled across the void. Then silence. The message carried with it the weight of their situation, a plea for assistance that echoed through the emptiness. It was a cry for help, but also a testament to their determination to survive, to be remembered. The entity was alone once more. The vastness of space seemed even more empty in the wake of the message. It pondered the humans' fate, the choices they made, and the legacy they left behind. The silence was profound, a stark contrast to the flurry of activity that had just occurred. But the story would linger. It would be told and retold, a tale of bravery and sacrifice that would inspire others. The entity knew that this was not the end, but rather a beginning. The legacy of those who fought and struggled would live on, a beacon in the darkness, an echo of human bravery, resonating in the cold emptiness of space. The courage of one would ripple through the cosmos, touching the lives of many. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a chance for redemption. The entity watched, and it remembered.